podcast for everyone passionate about landscape photography. I'm Grant Swinburne, and I'll be your guide as we explore the world of landscape photography through the eyes and lenses of photographers, up-and-coming and seasoned professionals alike. I try to dig a little deeper into the way they think about their photography, how it fits in their lives, and where they see it going into the future. So I hope you'll join me on this expedition to Tasmania's Tarkine with Tim Cooper. Tim is a full-time picture framer based in northwest Tasmania who spends as much time as possible in the Tarkine, one of the most significant and threatened wilderness regions in the Southern Hemisphere. Since 2016, his photography has focused on the rainforests, rivers and rugged coastlines of this ancient landscape and the very real threats it faces from logging, mining and climate-driven fire. His own work documents not just the landscape, but activists, burn scars and threatened species like the swift parrot. Images built around conservation impact rather than likes. In this episode, Tim talks about the challenges of working full-time while pursuing serious landscape and wildlife photography, how selling at markets helped him refine his personal style and curation, and why he believes the printed image is where photography's real power lies. He's also candid about careful location sharing and the responsibility that comes with photographing sensitive environments. I hope you enjoy the show. G'day, Tim. Welcome to Landscape Photography World. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. We were just saying before, Hilary Younger put me onto you and suggested that you'd be someone worth talking to. So let's start with the basics. And why is Tim Cooper a photographer?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I guess photography, like both sides of the family have always had cameras and photography has been around growing up. Also found photography good like at schools and like just doing my own trips and that sort of thing. I'm very much an introvert, keep it to myself. So if I've got a camera, then it gives me a job and I can go off and do my own thing. And same with going through uni as well. I ended up doing all the event photography and because it gave me a role and I could join in that way. But
no, okay.
Yeah.
So why landscapes? What is it about landscapes that makes you go, yes, this is what I want to do with my life? Or at least a fair proportion, do you like?
Yeah, for photography. Well, I do enjoy like portraits and documentary style photography. Probably like the outcome of that even more so. But yeah, also like that involves talking to people and yeah, landscapes are much easier to get along with and it's like a nice silent space, especially in Tasmania. You've got quite a bit of nice wilderness out there and yeah, you can just be yourself and explore and yeah, bring the camera along too.
Nice. Okay. And what was that first landscape that made you go, yeah, I really want to do this?
Yeah, so like I did doing all my own little trips, like cycle touring and that sort of thing, just going into landscapes, still shooting photos, getting some printed. But probably the main turning point was going through uni. Had a friend that invited me along to Tarkine in Motion. So Pop Brown Foundation event, which just puts like this year there was about 100 artists going out into various areas of the Tarkine, different camps, and just really just an art residency, all different art forms. So I went there not really knowing much about photography or the landscape, but it was a free trip. Food was provided and everything, so might as well go along.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I met Hilary there, so yeah, definitely felt out of place, but yeah. The whole Tarkine in Motion, like the follow-up, the first year there was a film coming out of it. But ever since then, there's been exhibitions, one in Hobart and a few others around the country. Mm-hmm. So I guess that way, yeah, just getting involved with exhibitions and the full process of seeing your work up on the wall and yeah.
Yeah, nice. Some of the listeners, particularly overseas ones, may not know when you say the Tarkine, what that actually means. And I guess having lived with it and photographed a fair amount, How would you describe it to somebody that doesn't know what the Tarkine is?
Yeah, so it's usually the introduction of every talk and every piece. Tarkine is pretty much the backyard, northwest Tasmania, 495,000 hectares, includes rainforests, eucalypt forests, budding grass moorlands, a few hills and things. It goes out to the coast. Some of the river valleys, they have like old Huon pines and things, which can live up to like beyond 2,000 years old. Out on the coast, it's very much a cultural landscape. It's got quite a few living sites and middens, and people have lived out there for over 40,000 years.
Yeah.
The landscape itself, so there's nothing to the west of it. It's just ocean until you reach Argentina. So you really get all the weather systems coming in from the west. So it's really wild, rugged. Yeah, lots of geology as well. Like the western half of Tasmania is all forms on so many different rock types. And because it's the first landmass since like coming from Argentina, like when all the weather systems come over, like all the air's been pushed up, and yeah, that combines in all the clouds and we get a big dumping of rainfall. So
Yeah.
which is perfect for rainforests.
Hence the rainforest there. So for those that aren't aware, I know through a little bit of history that it's one of the rare pieces of old growth forest left in the world, and it's a fairly pristine piece of wilderness that we're talking about. And I say fairly because, as you say, humans have been in there for 40 odd thousand years, so they have had some effects. But in terms of worldwide, where would you put it in terms of wild places?
Yeah, it's like the whole area there's quite a few mining leases scattered through the whole area.
Yeah.
There's no mines in quite a few of them. I guess that's prices of minerals at the time. And lots of areas, like they have some selectively logged areas in the past as well. You can see some old stumps in some of the forests closer to roads.
Sure.
But yeah, most of it is all like as it was, like a winter forestry creep, so a bounded area destined to be logged. Went there last week, and yeah, like looking around, all the trees 500, 600 years old, giant, mainly myrtles. Most of the eucalypts have fallen down over time, and like it's all become rainforest again. So, like putting that into perspective, that was a long time before colonization. There's a lot of things that have happened in this land since that time, and yeah, no one on this planet was around at that time either.
Yeah.
So
it must hold a special place in your heart in terms of being able to go into somewhere that, as you say, predates colonisation in terms of most of the landscape in there. So what is it actually like wandering through there, looking for compositions, looking for something that you can take away as a memory?
Yeah, so Tarkine's been my main focus since 2016, so last decade. Reason I'm drawn to the Tarkine is, well, it is threatened, so it creates meaningful work as well. But there's very few tracks. It's like you can walk in any direction and it's all just natural.
Yeah,
vastly unchanged, and it's like how the world was, how it should be.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the attributes of your work is that it does lean towards conservation. And I know that there's been, you mentioned there's mining leases there and there's areas that have been logged. I don't know if it was the entire Tarkine, but I know that area was under threat for many years, and there was quite a lot of protests, particularly during the 60s and 70s, people raising platforms up trees and stopping logging or stopping the trees being felled for roads and all those sorts of things. Having lived through and seen some of that, I guess must make it all the more special as well.
Yeah, I think by numbers, less than 5% is protected. just Savage River National Park. There's lots of conservation areas and like regional reserves, but that doesn't protect much. You can still log it and still mine it. Yeah, you can still make money from it. So the business or the government's still keeping it open for those industries. Yeah, I did grow up in Burnie, so northwest Tasmania, and that is very much an industrial town.
Yeah.
Like right in town, there's a huge wood chip pile, lots of plantations around as well. So it's not all like native forests, but yeah, just constant trucks coming through. And but I did go down to uni in Hobart and I did more studies in like geology, geography, learning about planet and systems, and getting a bit more of an understanding that way. And that first Tarkine in motion, like the site I went to was a very lush river system. Like you walk down the gorges, everything's covered completely in moss. And right at the end of that, we measured a few trees around a proposed coop, which has since been logged. Then went into a freshly logged one, and just the silence walking into that area, like it's deafening.
Yeah. And I guess having studied geology and some of the science and ecology behind the rainforests and the old growth forests and whatever, how has that impacted on your photography, and how have you utilised that knowledge to inform your photography?
Yeah, I guess it was a good basis just to understand a bit more, walk into a landscape and see how it's evolved over time. The more conservation focused work probably came afterwards.
Sure.
Just seeing these places and seeing, like, working out what I actually value. And it's all the native endemic species, and which, they're under threat of climate as well. So, and they're disappearing rapidly. Like you've got all the alpine species being pushed to extinction. The climate's warming up. There's no resistance to fire as well. Dry lightning's on the rise. Like 20 years ago, that wasn't really a thing. So if I can get images of those landscapes, share those values, get people on board, and I think that's the only way to do it.
Yeah. When you're setting up a shoot, are you thinking about going to new and different places when you're doing planning, or is it more, okay, well, I'm going to just head off down this gorge or down this river valley or whatever, or across this ridge and just see what happens? And is it more a thing that's instinctual and led by gut feel, or do you do a lot of planning when you're thinking about getting up and getting out there?
Yeah, it depends on where I'm going.
Sure.
Like I do quite a bit of work in like alpine areas as well and other national parks. Those places I always stick to tracks because I feel if I'm going off track, then I'm kind of encouraging other people to go off track and see the damage there. So that's protected in a way. I don't really need to go off and do other things. There's plenty of other people doing that. So in those areas, I definitely plan ahead. But areas like the Tarkine, like even last weekend, I planned to go to one certain area because there's a particular bird I've seen a few times and wanted to photograph that. Didn't see the bird at all, but just walked around that area, got the aurora instead, and just focusing on plants. So and I also work like a 9 to 5 every weekday day job. So time is limiting. You can't plan the weather to that degree. So you really have to adapt to whatever arises and make the most of that.
Let's talk a little bit about that balancing act of the desire to get out there and the need to make money and working full time, being a part-time photographer. How challenging is it when you look out the window at work and go, I'm pretty sure the light would be fantastic on that ridge or whatever?
I've been struggling with that recently. And like even last year, I was doing markets and everything else on weekends. I also shoot like some events as well. So that takes up a lot of time. And most of my photos come from multi-day trips. So there's not too many. Last few years, I've been producing a calendar as well. And like first year, I just went through the backlog, picked out all the landscape ones. Second year, picked out all the portrait ones. And this year I'm struggling because I don't feel I've got enough images just to
Okay,
make a
wow.
calendar of images. So yeah, I don't think I've got the balance figured out yet, but
Still working
just
it.
have to make the most of it, and
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
probably more like project based as well.
Yeah, okay. Talk to us a little bit about projects. How do you set them up? Are you thinking about multiple projects at the same time? Do you concentrate on one and then shift to others? How do you operate?
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's too many projects. I guess the main project is just Tarkine in general.
Sure.
Last year, we had a very big fire go through the area. So 80,000 hectares of Takana burnt.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time like going through there, documenting the burnt sites, more as a climate approach. And yeah, that was one big project. Like also document activists in trees and do all the climbing and all that sort of thing too, which, yeah, you can plan a bit more. You can actually go down on the weekends, meet with a few people and go climbing. Another project was documenting swift parrots. That was on the other side of Tasmania. Also climbing trees, got the big lens out, and yeah, just followed parrots around logging coops. And
Wow. Talk to me about personal expression and I guess using that to communicate your messages in your photography. Because to talk about conservation, to work with activists and those sorts of things is one way of doing it, but you've got to try to blend in that feeling and that emotion, I guess, to get people to actually pay attention via the images. How do you sort of infuse your work with that personal style and the way that you're trying to get a message across?
yeah, I actually think doing markets has really helped that part. Because like every week you're going out, setting up a store and curating a space, putting different images on the wall.
Sure.
And yeah, it's kind of made me think of which images really work and resonate with like, my views. And so I've definitely followed like what works for me more so than the customer, which probably not a good idea. But, yeah, so I tend to not do any or very few sunrises on sunsets. So yeah, bit opposite to you. Yeah. But yeah, definitely drawn to the quieter landscapes, the very curated, almost silence and still places as well. And I think when I focus on that, like, that's who I am as well. So I feel if someone else sees the image and they've got the same feelings, then they're really going to connect with that. And yeah, just have to be yourself.
Yeah, nice. And in terms, you talked about staying on tracks if you're in an alpine area, you know, and encouraging others. I take it you don't geotag your images. You might say the Tarkine, which, as you say, is a very large area, so it could be anywhere in there. You'd really have to know your trees and your river valleys to work out some of them. Is that important to you to try and keep those places quiet?
Yeah. It is also a challenge. Like sticking to tracks, you are quite limited,
Sure.
especially on more popular tracks. We can shoot different lenses, shoot different conditions,
Yeah.
which I tend to go out in less than ideal conditions. No sunny days.
They're sometimes the best, though.
Yeah, sometimes it works well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the Tarkine, there's the other, like you have to say the location in a way. Like if it's in a logging coop, you still need to list where that is.
Sure.
That is under threat and everything. But then also thinking about we're so careful walking through a coop, like not stepping on any fungi and walking around everything.
Mm.
But then in a week's time, it could be completely cleared and like nothing left at all.
Yeah.
Like, and be as careful as we can be. But yeah.
Yeah. If someone's coming in with a chain logging
So
set up, then
definitely needs to be open.
all your care goes. Yeah.
But yeah, I also think my work is definitely not like the more iconic views anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, tend to go towards more like smaller scenes, which, yeah, they don't work in every condition. And there's very few people trying to copy the same areas too. So I think that's so.
No, so I think you've found an absolutely fantastic little niche there, and in that largish corner of Tasmania.
Yeah.
I didn't want to call it a little corner, but it might look small on the map. But as you said, it's actually quite a large area. In terms of success in your photography, is that what success is for you, that you've come away with images that you're happy with and they resonate with you in terms of that stillness?
Yeah, I think success is more like for anyone just producing meaningful work. So it can be just meaningful to you, like meaningful to just go out, even if you don't get any images, that's still meaningful in a way. I do want to make it a bit more meaningful and shift values as well.
Yeah.
But I also think success, like my day job is a picture framer.
Okay.
So I do quite a few exhibitions on the side. And like success to me is having like a photo printed up to a size you want, not holding back at all, and just having that like quality and like the final presentation up on the gallery wall. Like you did that, and yeah, like you know the full process, you know what you've been through, and
yeah. So are you printing your own images?
No, that's one thing I don't do.
Okay. When you said full process, I just wanted to sort of understand where you're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love
I get what you mean.
Yeah. I'd love to do the printing. Done printing workshops and things, and like got everything calibrated to the lab's printers.
Yeah. No.
But I also think like we have way too much stuff as well.
Yeah. No, I go along with that.
Yeah. I'm just renting at the moment, so there's not a lot of space, but also there's printers. You have to look after it and keep it going and everything. So
yeah, they do need to be fed and watered, and they're not cheap.
Yeah. Like I've been working with my lab for over 10 years now, so I'm very happy with their work, and they pick up on things that I miss, and very supportive.
Yeah. Now, it's nice if you've got a good communication and relationship with a lab that understands what you're trying to do, but also, as you said, will pick up things that you might miss and give you two-way communication before just churning out a print. You know, it's not like they just hit print when they get the file or whatever.
Yes, and all the colours change and everything. And
and you're going, no, that's not what I wanted. In terms of how you go about thinking about printing and thinking about setting up an exhibition, what are you doing in terms of curating the images that you're trying to put together, or even if it's just for the markets? You mentioned that you do some curation there and try to bring them together in some way. Is there always a theme running through them, or is there sometimes a little bit of randomization going on?
Yeah, like always a theme of images: landscape, wildlife, natives, endemics. I used to, because I work in a frame shop, I'm used to frame things in all different ways, and 20, 30 different papers as well, just to get to know which ones I really want to use. But now I frame and print, I've got templates set up on the computer. Each template set up to a different paper size. So I've used all the standard paper size from different paper companies, which also ensures every print is delivered flat, nice and easy to frame and good to give to anyone buying. And I've cut back to 2 different types of papers for 2 different types of images. So just a nice simple matte paper. I use the honeymeal hemp for that.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, a bit more sustainable too.
Yeah, nice.
And the Platine fiber rag, which is very good for black and whites, and when you really want that contrast, or nice damp rainforest scenes, very popular in Tasmania. So
nice.
Good paper things.
What is it about those 2 papers? Obviously, the cotton rag for black and whites. Why the honeymeal hemp? I'm just keen on why people pick certain things, because certain images work better on, some images, if they're not on gloss, they don't look quite right, whereas others, you kind of need that matte feeling to them. So I'm just keen on why people pick different papers.
Yeah, so I guess the hemp one is very similar to like Hanamule's standard cotton rag, photo rag, it's called.
Mm.
Benefit of that, there is no sheen, no reflection, so you can put it anywhere and you don't see the reflection, you just see the image.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do lose some contrast with it,
Yep.
but most of the scenes I shoot are a bit softer and more subtle anyway.
Mm.
You don't need those really deep, rich blacks. So that's a benefit there. And like with the hemp as well, there's 60% hemp, 40% cotton, which, yeah, it requires less water and less pesticides and things to grow.
Yeah.
But I think just supporting companies like Hanimural is a good thing. Like
Mm.
the thinking of different ways to overcome issues we're having.
Yeah.
And if more people support those companies, then they're going to expand the line. And yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a great idea. In terms of size, what's the biggest you've printed to?
I've done a few like 40-inch ones, so not huge.
Yeah, it's a reasonable size. Yeah.
Wouldn't really fit in this room. So, but yeah, I choose everything like as high resolution as possible. As images, I do stack if I can, unless I've got like motion in water and that sort of thing.
Sure.
Just to get that highest quality shooting all primes, just the absolute best I can, and so I can go big
Yeah, nice.
when it's needed.
Are you shooting medium or format or full frame?
APS-C actually,
Okay.
yeah, using the Fuji system.
Yep.
Yeah, would like to go medium format there, but I also shoot birds and wildlife, and that's just a bit too slow. So
Yeah,
yeah,
got it.
it's a good in the middle one.
You've got a nice sweet spot. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I do shoot some film as well on the side, which yeah, medium format there, but yeah.
Yeah, nice. Can you tell us about a time when you've been out in the fields and things didn't quite go as you'd planned, but something unforgettable still happened?
Just unforgettable moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. One comes to mind is like walking along the Tarkine coast.
Hmm.
Like the full coast takes 6, 7 days.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's pretty remote. No vehicle access or anything for that stretch.
Yeah, there's no towns down there.
No, no humans either, most of the time. But yeah, some of the big sand dunes there, like you walk along there and at night, like everything's just pitch black. You get the sea mist coming in, so you don't really see stars or anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, just walking along the sand, hearing the ocean to the one side, and yeah, just like losing the ability to see completely, but like fully exposed in the elements. And but then walking around those areas as well, you can come across some of the middens and living sites, and you see where people would have lived. And like you're not the only one to experience that, but you're just out there. It's not lonely, but very isolating.
Yeah. Sounds magical.
It is. Too many spots like that.
No, definitely not. No. I mean, I've been to a few remote-ish places, but almost all of them have some kind of vehicular access,
Yeah.
just to get near them, before you start a walk in. But yeah, nothing of that ilk, and certainly something I'd be a fan of experiencing myself. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, it's a big coastline.
Definitely.
I guess like another one would be the swift parrots, like being up in a tree in one of the little portalages, like what the big wall climbers use.
Yep.
So I spent a few nights up there and just every day sitting up there, like reading a book, got the big lens attached and everything, and just being so in tune with the swift parrot bird call. As soon as you hear that, then you're up looking around the surrounding trees and around the branches, and like it's a Welsh past parrot, so they go past the tree pretty quickly, and just being up there, like surrounded by birds,
Yeah.
that's yeah, nice experience.
Awesome. Awesome. What about sketchy experiences? Have you got any horror stories?
No horror stories as such. I try and be pretty safe.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few times where it's like the sun goes down a bit too quickly,
Okay.
and you're away from tracks and roads, and yeah, it's a bit yeah. You have to put your navigation skills to the test then, especially in deep forests.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I don't know if you were following the story, but there was that Belgian tourist who
Yes.
died out in the Arthur River area, Philosopher's Falls,
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, and they've only just recently found her remains. And it's a perfect example of being in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong set of tools or the wrong set of skills. Nobody's
Yeah.
really sure exactly what happened there in terms of how she ended up dying, and not even that very remote. I mean, it's remote-ish, but it's not nothing like that 6 or 7 day walk down the coast.
Mm.
And it was effectively, she'd parked her van and gone for a short walk, probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 Ks, I think it was, from the car park, and then disappeared into the forest, and it got dark and she got lost. And
Yeah.
it just
Very
shows
easy to
how
do.
easy it is for somebody, even with, she had her mobile phone for GPS and all that sort of thing, and still couldn't find a way out of the forest.
Yeah, especially in a forest, you lose all connection. And yeah, that's happened before. A previous phone I had started having battery issues, as they all do. It was did a late night paddling trip
Hmm.
to get to a certain patch of forest, and yeah, was going to meet up with a few others further up the valley. Just got too dark and phone died, and yeah, but had everything. So set up camp and had a sleep. Wake up and found them. So
Probably the best way of dealing with it if
yeah,
you've got the kit.
which yeah, I guess best way to get out of a situation is like not looking. If you don't know where you are, then yeah,
Yeah. The natural world, and particularly the Tarkine, have obviously shaped your photography in many ways. How do you think the practice of photography has changed you and changed the way that you look at nature?
yeah, it's just like you're looking at the world in a different way, looking for different things as well. Like I'm very much looking for stronger compositions now, and like over the last summer, wanted to learn more about like alpine plants, alpine flowers and things, which
Mhm.
of little plants, the richer scaparia, which all comes up, blooms in lots of different colors. So went to those areas, but yeah, just finding all those really small hidden things along different tracks, and which I don't think I would have seen without a camera. It would have been a much quicker walk without a camera, but
Yeah, just about any walk's a lot quicker without a camera.
yes. Although I tend to, like everywhere I go, I keep the camera in the pack, so I'm not shooting constantly. It's only
Right.
when I really see something and, yeah, get the camera out, get the tripod out, do everything I can and take it
Yeah.
slowly.
Given what you've already shot, what does it take to actually make you stop in your tracks and go, oh, got to get the camera out, got to get the tripod out, got to set up and spend a bit of time here?
Could be anything. Yeah. I shoot just so many different things, little rock patterns, yeah, flowers, plants, anything that makes, I guess there's been more of a focus on, you could consider it design elements.
Okay.
So more looking for like different colors, different shapes, patterns, try and make a composition out of that rather than the like actually what's out there. It is always nice to include different species and things too, but yeah, there's a lot of thoughts going on.
Yeah. Obviously, solitude plays a big part in your work. How does that sort of move into the sharing of your work and getting your work seen by others? Obviously, you've got to interact with people. So, how do you square that?
Yeah, guess I've been pretty lucky since that first 2016 Tarkine Motion. Most of my work's been through Bob Brown Foundation or like doing all the exhibitions and things. They, yeah, people get to know me through that. But then, yeah, doing our own exhibitions from that, mostly Tarkine themed. And yeah, it's a pretty small community. So you start to know everyone and yeah, everyone helps out.
Nice. Yeah. And in terms of struggling to find inspiration or struggling to get the juices flowing, the creative juices flowing, what happens when that happens to you? Does it happen to you? And do you do anything in particular to try and get yourself out of a rut or out of a bit of a funk that almost every photographer that falls into? You do it for enough years, and at some point you're just going to go, I don't really feel it anymore. What do you do when that happens?
Yeah, that does happen a lot. Like even out in landscape, you get all the nice light, nice conditions, nice subject. Don't feel like shooting.
Yeah, just go, no, I'm not getting the camera out.
Yeah. But I've also, like photography jobs, I've cut back to only things I really want to do, like without money or anything.
Yeah, right.
And like even all the landscape stuff, there's no pressure except for like calendars now and some upcoming exhibitions that I don't have any new work for. So I've kind of learned if I'm not inspired, then I'm not going to shoot. I'm not going to push through it because I'm not going to get images anyway.
Yeah.
But also there's moments where I'm not motivated at all, but there's always like a different interest. Like over summer it was wildflowers. Sometimes I'm thinking more about presentation, printing and framing.
Mm-hmm.
A while back, a few years ago, it was changing cameras, shooting film, developing all the stuff, just keeping some sort of interest going. Yeah, shooting different things, going back to more documentary style, shoot a few rallies. Yeah, or learning different bird species.
Yeah.
There's always something, even if it's not directly photography. It's related.
Excellent. What's photography's place in society, and where do you see it going?
There's many things. It can just be like individual hobby and things, but yeah, it's also a very powerful tool if you can use it correctly. Like any events in history, if you think about, you're generally thinking about one single image from that time. And I don't think that's going to change. It's still going to be the same. Like Franklin River, thinking Rock Island Bends, Australian bushfires.
Mm.
I think there's a photo by Matthew Abbott, kangaroo jumping in front of a burning house.
Yep.
Yeah, 9/11.
So powerful.
Images there. It's, So I don't think that's ever going to change. Like, we do have all the AI and everything coming in as well, but I don't think we'll really value it differently as photographers.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago about the Artemis, the recent mission to go around, and the fact that the astronauts took photography glasses.
Yeah.
Because they realised that one of the main aspects of what they were going to do was come back with images that were going to impact on people back here on Earth. And I just love that. And to me, that sort of epitomises photography's place in society. Regardless of what gear they took and all the rest of the gumph around, they used this one and that lens, and why they were using sort of 10-year-old DSLRs and that sort of, which is all fine. It's still a very serviceable camera, and you look at the images and you can see why they chose them. But to me, as I say, that kind of epitomises what photography's place in society. It was so important that these 4 people that were travelling 400,000 miles around the moon and back had to go and teach themselves how to take good photos, because they knew that was going to be an important aspect of their mission.
Yeah, I guess like photography and like art in general, it is completely different languages. Like everyone can understand it in a way. Everyone interprets it differently, but like even down to color, we all see colors a bit differently, and like one color may associate with some experience in your past or something. But using that as like a visual language, like going back to the Tarkine campaign as well, got scientists on board, they produced lots of numbers and everything, lots of written work. It's a form of communication, but what really gets people involved and understanding that is photography and video work. But it's just that visual. I guess you don't have to think about it as much, but you just see it and you understand it.
Yeah. You mentioned AI. Do you see that as one of the biggest challenges facing photographers right now?
Some photographers, definitely.
Yeah.
Other photographers, like us, not so much. Still do it for enjoyment. And
Well, this is it. It's never going to stop me getting out there, and I certainly don't care about sitting at my keyboard typing in commands to produce an image.
Yeah.
I can do it better than, or at least I think I can.
That's the one thing I'm not a fan of digital cameras as well. Like they're all very similar.
Yeah,
You do lose some of that experience. They're all just rectangle sensor at the back of a camera.
yep,
You look through a viewfinder, you take the shot.
yeah,
There's a few exceptions to that, but yeah, unlike film cameras, like you're composing differently. It's all about that in-field experience. And
yeah. You have to understand.
it's the next step beyond that. Like
Yeah,
you're even more separated from what you're shooting and
that's exactly it.
or what you're creating. Yeah.
I was quite, I won't say anti, but I was kind of against getting myself a drone for quite some time, simply because it does remove you from where the photo's being taken. I've warmed towards it because I went and bought one and thought, okay, well, am I against this for the wrong reasons and so forth? And so, but I agree with you in terms of AI being a step removed. And I feel even with the drone and using it and taking, I think, some nice images occasionally, it still does put you away from where the lens is. And so I can't go and stand 180 meter or 120 meters up in the air and look straight down, because I can't, unless I'm standing up a tree that's 180 meters tall or on a mountain that's 180 meters tall.
That's what I like about climbing too.
Yeah. And so, that step removal it still grates with me occasionally. I still like some of the images I create, but it still grates with me, and it just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't have the same feeling as, standing in a place either with a tripod or without a tripod, and actually being more interactive with the action of taking the image.
Yeah. And drones are such powerful tools as well. Like there's many times I've been to a landscape and thought a drone shot would just complete the story. And yeah. But also every time I've been around someone with a drone, they're very stressed. And
I'm the same. I really don't want to be that person. And I try to keep them well away from other people if I know other people. And again, if I know there's particularly birds of prey, I don't care about seagulls so much because they're not on the endangered species list. But yeah, if there's a bird of prey around or something like that, I'm not flying my drone, and that's
expensive too.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that's a selfish thing as well. A, I don't want to injure the bird, but B, I also don't want to lose my drone, Yes. So what is the future of photography? Where is it going? What do you see as being photography's future?
I think it still will be very similar. Definitely still advances in technology as well, like global shutters and all that, plus the readout speeds, high resolution,
et cetera.
Yeah. So then I guess it comes back to just people being more creative. Like, what can we do with these new tools, and actually, push them to the limit and a bit more, and see where we can head.
Yeah.
Like one thing I do, like every camera I get, I learn it inside out. It's always next to me. I learn every single control because one day, one situation might come up and I want to try something else. I want to know what it's capable of. So the future is just going to increase that and be able to do more.
Totally. If you weren't a photographer, what would you be?
Yeah, I'd probably still do the same thing.
Okay.
Don't know about painting or anything, but maybe record some sounds or don't know.
Okay. But you'd still be doing something creative and something artistic.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much the same as what I'm doing. Probably more science, documentary, or recording stuff. But even now with the camera, like when I go out to new areas, I do photograph as many birds or as many species as possible. Get back into room capture one and tag every single species I get, so I know where they are, what time of year it is, different locations where you can find them. And
nice.
So I'll still do that, just without a camera.
So become a bird watcher.
Yes. So no change.
Yeah, awesome. What's the best and or worst piece of advice anyone's given you?
This piece of advice probably came from a maths teacher, not really photography related, but because I'm always the quiet person that I don't really put my hand up or anything. I just, observe from the back. Yeah, she said, just understand you. Don't let anyone change you. Be who you are. And yeah, so I guess that falls back into photography as well.
Yeah, fantastic.
Don't have to match up or anything. Just do what you do.
Yeah, that's amazing advice. It's wonderful that a teacher has recognised that in you and given you advice like that. It is definitely advice to live by.
It doesn't say much, but yeah, it's definitely good to hear.
Yeah, excellent. What about the worst piece?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure any bad advice I've just blocked out or not listened or removed from my memory. So, yeah, I can't think of any.
All right, that's fine, totally fine. What's your favourite thing about being a photographer?
Photo-wise, seeing the presented image up on the wall, not quite photo-wise, just being out there and, going through all the processes to ensure got everything right and just being in the landscape.
Nice.
What was the other part of the question?
The next part of the question is, what's your least favourite thing about being a photographer?
Yes. Yeah, I guess like sometimes it can be a bit too competitive.
Okay.
And people claim certain images and it's having that disconnect and not doing it for the landscape.
Yeah.
Just competing in the hierarchy.
Yeah. Who else should I be talking to on the podcast? Obviously, Hillary was nice enough to drop your name on the list. Who else are you going to dob in to get me to talk to?
Yeah, I think Hillary and I are connected pretty well because we're both very quiet and trying to avoid the group. So, we just formed our own little group and,
Nice.
I was thinking Nathan Dolby, Nature by Nathan.
I haven't spoken to him, but I've seen his work, Yeah,
I don't really know much about him. He just covers a lot.
Very really interesting style he's got too.
Yeah. And Louise Danton.
Okay. Haven't spoken
up in Darwin.
Yeah, I don't know. The name rings a bell, but I don't think I've actually gone intentionally off to look for her work at the moment. But I'll definitely give her a look.
Landscape photographer, does some aerials too.
Nice.
But also very busy. Like she does all her own framing and calendars and things. And you go anywhere in the NT, there's stock of her. So
yeah, nice. Awesome. My last question is the one that I've asked just about every guest on the podcast. Do you like pineapple on pizza?
Haven't changed the question then?
Not yet. I might. I'm still trying to work out what other weird and funky question I can ask.
I'll have it. Generally with pizzas, though, you do share them. Mm-hmm. And my partner's allergic to pineapple.
That's problematic.
We won't order it. But if it's on the table, I'm not going to allow food to waste. So I'm going to clean every last crumb. And
I'm the same. Yeah, I don't order it, but if it's there, it's getting eaten.
We'll clean it up.
Thank you very much, Tim. It has been wonderful getting to know you a little bit better. How can people find you and your work?
Yeah, I better check this to be sure, but websites, I always get the links confused. T. Cooper Photo, I believe. Mm-hmm. I just tried it.
I'll make sure there's links in the...
tcooperphoto.com or Instagram, which is timcooper_photo, or Facebook as well, which is more like market promotion and product stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks again, Tim. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you for being on the show.
Oh, thank you. Had quite a lineup.
Awesome. Thanks again for listening to Landscape Photography World. I hope you enjoyed the show, and keep listening because I'll be joined by some great guests in upcoming episodes. You can find my work in this podcast at grantswinburnephotography.com. I'm also on a whole load of different social media platforms except X or Twitter. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps the podcast to be seen and heard. Make sure that you share it and tell everyone that you know what a wonderful podcast it is. I'm Grant Swinburne. Hope to see you out shooting soon.